just see if you can hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just get everything really quiet so everyone can hear it, okay?
Let's just test it.
Social capital.
Yeah.
What is that? Social capital has nothing to do with geography. Social capital has nothing to do with money. Social capital is trusting relationships that allow you to support one another. Social capital promotes quality of life. It's what you build on when you're part of a trusting community. Trust allows you to find and work with people in different social networks. All relationships add to our quality of life. Everyone needs to have relationships with all kinds of people. Trusting relationships add opportunities and possibilities in our lives. Hello, Susan. My basement is flooding. Do you know anyone who has a pump?
I don't know anyone with a pump.
Ralph, do you have a pump? No, I don't. Linda, do you know anyone who has a pump?
I know someone with a pump. Why do you have so many bicycles?
I fix bicycles and car radios.
I work at a bicycle shop and they need a repair person. Would you be interested?
Yes. Building social capital. Creating trusting relationships and opportunities to help others in our community. Improves the quality of life for all of us. Jobs. Recreation. Spiritual life. Transportation. All are in the hands when we are part of a community. Supporting one another. Helping to solve problems. Together. That is social capital.
Did you hear it?
Yes.
Got the
Yeah, that's
gist of
fine.
it. It works
Yeah, that's
amazing.
great. Thank you for that. So who has a pump?
No, seriously, no. Hands up.
Awesome. Yeah, we need your help empty the basement later.
Thank you everyone for showing up here today. We're going to be talking about pumps and who has a pump. No, we're not going to do that. We're going to be talking about social capital and networks and how to use your social capital and your networks to get what you want. But first, I want to introduce myself. My name is Sophia, as some of you may know because you would have met me during the lunch hour. And it was really nice to come here early today and have lunch with you guys. So many people came over and introduced themselves, which was awesome, and it's exactly what you should do when you go to speaking events, so that you get to know the speakers and make a connection with them. I have a master in management and a certificate in business, one formal education and one from an industry course. I have a bachelor of communications in journalism from Australia and one in honors research in public relations. I also have studied arts and art history, which I talked to about in the lunch break with one of the girls who studied chemistry because of my teachers. And I've worked since I was 14, so that means 5 years. And I've been in the education industry for 8 years outside of my own education. I've lived in 3 countries, so as you might have heard from my accent by now, is that I'm not Australian. I'm from Norway. Norway is a country far, far away on the other side of the world. It's got 4.7 million people, which is equally as many people as in Sydney, and that's where I live now, and I've lived here for almost 10 years. I speak 5 languages, which is useful, and I own a business that helps international students and other students get what they want, and I have a mentoring business that helps manage those people. So I have 2 businesses, but they leverage off each other in terms of networks and in terms of people that are suitable to help each other out. And excuse me, and that's how I met Brian. But before Brian introduces himself, I want to tell you about a little gift that I put on your chairs. And basically what it is, it's a bag of seeds. The seeds in here are called tomato money makers. So hopefully in the future, when you understand the meaning of why I've given it to you, it'll help you get a little bit more money. But it's not just about money, which you will figure out very soon. I have given it to you because it's my attempt at building a relationship with you, which is why my business card is attached to it, and I'll explain that in a minute. And this is Brian.
Well, you can see your health and well-being and plenty of fiber is more important than introducing myself. I graduated from the University of Technology, Sydney, about 24 months ago, and I got my master's in internet networking. I published papers both in the area of bioinformatics research, so I have a medical background. Now, as you can see, I was put on a published fashion photographer. I got my stuff up in Sydney Fashion Week a year or two ago. So I've enjoyed it. That's my degree, based in Bachelor of Science in Information Technology, and I probably did more courses than I want to count. I've also done a few interesting things, like, all of you here know Siri, right?
Yeah.
No. I was on the board here that was discussing the speech technology before Siri came out. I was still having a look at that. I have a personal passion for aerospace and outer space. So if you want to talk about stuff that goes up into space and never comes back, you talk to me. And I read about 30 books a month. And I do my own business. Hers, Sophia's here, is to really help interns out. And I build online education systems to help people learn better.
And we're using some of those systems in my business. Sorry, the clicker doesn't work, which is why I'm So what we're going to go through today is, we have three main parts. One is we're going to talk about dreams and reality and how that's part of relationships and social capital. We're going to talk about the behavior and self, although that part will be a little bit shorter today because we don't have as much time as we usually do. And we're going to talk about networking and how that relates to relationships and social capital. And this is why I gave you the seat. This is a Japanese proverb that I learned when I started doing business, and it means a lot to me. To nurture the seed and you'll have a fruitful harvest means that if you do plant a seed and you nurture it, a plant will grow. And if you don't look after that seed, a plant won't grow. And that's why Japanese business people use this, because it's the same with the relationship. If you have a relationship with someone and you figure out a way that where you can, or how you can nurture that relationship, that will have fruitful outcomes for you. Okay? And so that's why I've given this to you, and I give this to students. I give this to people I work with. And tomatoes are really, really easy plants to grow because it's a weed. I don't give it to people because I want to give them weeds, but I want to give them something that's really, really easy to grow, and that's a relationship with me. And hopefully if they do plant it and they see that it's withering a little bit, they'll remember to call me. And when they pick the fruits of it, they'll remember to call me. And they'll do that because they know that for some reason it will be beneficial for them to do so. And it will be beneficial for me. So to nurture the seed and you will have a fruitful harvest is something that comes easy to some people and not to others. And that's why we go around and talk about networking. Brian and I. And it grows kind of into a dream. And so that's the reason I bring it up. Who here has had a dream? Good. When you interact with someone at a talk, your body learns more. So raise your hands when I ask questions, and then you'll remember it more. So everyone's had a dream, right? And my dream was to come to Australia and build a business of my own. And so I've done that. And so I want other people to also have their dreams come true, because when I started doing this, it made me feel better. Now, I haven't always focused on my dream. It's been a long road, and I used to have a job that I really hated. For more than a year, I spent 75% of my time awake hating what I did, which is absolutely ridiculous, really, because I am educated and I have good people around me, and so I should know that the world is my oyster and I can do whatever I want, yet I do something that I hate. So I left that horrible nightmare and turned it into a dream. And so I walk around, or I travel around, and I tell people to do the same thing, because I know that it's doable and it's great, because if I can do it, so can you.
Okay, awesome. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the perceived world and the invisible and the invisible, now by Maris Moriarty. He was a psychologist and phenomenologist in the 1940s after World War II. And he studied work with patients who had brain injuries from the war. And what he discovered was how perception shapes our reality. So what he's determined with that fact, you know what, let's change it. Let's do an exercise straight away. All right? So this is a quick exercise. I want you all to look around the room, and I want you and count for me how many things do you notice in the room. All right? We'll give you about 15, 20 seconds to just observe the things in the room. All right? Nothing too fancy? All right, cool. So let's do a show of hands now. Who here has seen and can count at least 5 things? Cool. 10, 15, 20, 30, 40. No, I'm serious. 50? 60?
Is this individual things like 2 chairs count as 2 things, or they count as 1 thing?
Up to you. 100 then. 200? Okay, so here's the first thing you spot. Everyone counts different things. You see different things.
Yeah.
So if I were to quickly just go around the room, and I'm just going to be really quick because I can't count. If I would say there's at least 1,000 things in this room I would look at. All right. So how many of you here notice the electric plug down, this telephone port down at the bottom here, next to the cables? All right. We got one man. We got the cables. You notice the head, the damaged head, the little white plastic on top of it. Do you see that? All right. What about here? Do you see the crevices and cuts on the aircon? See how it's been just repaired and painted up again? And all the lights, you see the dirt level on it, and how it's in the last 6 weeks. Over there, you see one bulb. The guy put the wrong bulb in. It's a different color. And again, over here, you see. You know, and I could go on about the whole freaking room. In fact, like when you look at this whiteboard, there's probably about 50, 60 things I can just tell you about this whiteboard. And the point of this really is that what you see and what's actually there are different things. Do you guys get that? You know, so what you see is a subset of what you're trained to see. And if all you see are the bad things, then all you see is life sucks. Serious. If you see only the good things, then you see life looks awesome. But you really want to see both. You know, and I just want to, and it's a little bit more work to get to it, but do you guys get the picture that the perceived world, what you see, is nothing necessarily what is reality? Does that all make sense to you guys?
Yeah.
Cool. Now, how many of you here had, all of you have a dream. So how many of you here, let's count, has at least, how many good friends do you know are helping you achieve your dream? Do I hear 1? Okay, good. Do I hear 2? Do I hear 2? Do I hear 2 on the thing? Do I hear 2? Do I hear 2? Okay, I hear 2. I hear 3. Anyone 3? Anybody with 3? Anybody with 3? I hear 3. I see a 3. I see a hand goes up. Hand goes up. Do I hear 4? Do you hear 4? Do I hear 4? Yes, I see 4. I see 4. I see 4. Do I hear 5? 5. 5. 5. Okay, good. 6. Do I hear 6? 6, 7. We're here 7. One man still had his hand up. 8. Is anyone? Oh, whoa, 8 people already. 8, 9. Do I hear 9? Do I hear 9? Okay, one hand down. 10. And do I hear 10? Do I hear 10? 11. Do I hear 11? And then 12. Do I hear 12? 13.
Depends what it
Depends what you mean by help.
Very good, mate. Very good. Help as in they know your real dream and are helping you make it a reality. So if you want to go to space, who's helping you go to space? That kind of question. You know? There's a girl you like, you want to hit on her. Who's helping you with it? And no, that does not include the sledgehammer. But here's the thing, folks. Those of you who have more friends helping you with your dreams are more likely to be successful at it. If you're just one poor soul sitting under the tree going, "What's my dream?" You're not going to go very far. Does that make sense? Cool.
So we're just going to quickly go through a group of people that are exceptional. They are awesome. They're talented. And they're well networked, just like you. At 17 years old, Angela Shane created a nanoparticle to use cancer. So that's pretty amazing. She didn't actually study to do that. She just was interested and she read heaps of books, formal education. And then she went to her teacher and said, "I think maybe I have a cure for cancer. It's this nanoparticle. I just read about it, and I've read all these other books. Can you have a look at that?" And the teacher probably and looked at it, and she was right. She actually had that, and so she told someone about it, her lecturer, and the lecturer put her in touch with people, and now they're actually developing this. And this is the truth. Angela wouldn't have been able to move this fast if she didn't tell someone. Milan created a solar panel with hair. I love that. I love how he did that. And so he told someone about it, his silly thing that he was making at home. And so he created a solar panel from hair. It's pretty amazing.
So that's where my hair went.
Alia Sabur, she's the youngest professor in the world. She's from Korea and she was 18 when she graduated from her second PhD. Evan Graham can ride 6 different types of airplanes. One is pretty amazing. Mohammed, he solved a maths riddle, which I think is amazing because I can hardly even. He went to Sweden to go to university and sat down with this riddle from the 1800s and solved it. Oh. So the reason that we're going through that is that these amazing people had dreams and they sat down and they really went for it. They wouldn't have been able to actually realize it if they hadn't told other people about it. So when you're alone, you can't get somewhere on your own. Yeah, you can be an individual, you can have your own dreams, but you can't get there on your own. And so, what do you think people told me when I told them I hated my job? Anyone got a suggestion?
Stick with it.
Stick with it. Some people said that.
Other opportunities? Other opportunities that are out there?
Yeah, go and get another job.
Just quit.
Yeah, quit. Do something about it. Don't go and hate your job for more than a year. Do something about it. Either cheer up, look at it from a different perspective, think about all the great things about it, or just go and tell people, look, I hate my job. What else should I do? And they will probably help you. They will probably tell you what you're good at and help you get what you want if you just let them know.
Now, just to give you all of your dreams, think about your dreams for a sec. You have to get to your goals, you have a lot on your plate. So this is what we really want to show you a little bit. Like, if you look at this, these are the things you would do to try and get to your goals. You want to motivate it. You want to deal with your excuses, their benefits. You're dealing with laziness, procrastination, circumstances, finances, goals, whatever. But the thing about this is that while your projects are massive in scope, or at least to you, it perceives like a humongous task. Every time you encounter a particular problem or challenge, it can be solved by simply asking someone else who knows better. All your friends, all of you, you've been counting your friends who've been helping you. I will bet you good money that all your friends will be able to resolve different things on this board. And if they help you with that, your goals are going to come to fruition. You guys agree with that? Awesome.
So what I didn't tell you before about the job that I hated is that it actually got a lot worse before it got better. I was in this job and I tried really hard. I tried to cheer up. I tried to look for other avenues. I tried to do all of it, but I didn't actually do it. So I tried to do it, but didn't actually do it. And eventually, my body absolutely broke down. Because my entire Sophia hated what I was doing and kept pushing myself to get what I didn't want. And so I actually had something that's very, very similar to a brain stroke. I went home one day from work. My boss didn't want to give me a day off to recuperate. He thought I should just smile. So I went home. I got home to my house and I was having a headache. It was weird, and all of a sudden I collapsed on the floor and I laid on the floor in my own apartment for 3 days before someone came and found me. Because I'm a really independent person who look after myself, and everyone perceived from the outside that I was the kind of person that loved my job, was always busy being healthy, going to the gym, telling everyone how much I loved everything. But nobody found me when I broke down because I hadn't told them the truth. And so I called people and I was a bit stuffed, after I actually realized what had happened to me. I was a bit stuffed and I thought, shit, how is it possible that me, so great, nobody found me? Why did no one look for me? And so I called a couple of people, including my mom, and I said, why did no one find me for 3 days? She said, well, look, you're always busy. You're always doing something, you're always running around, you're always, your job, your gym, whatever. We just assumed that you were happy and healthy and at work and everything was fine. Because that's what it looks like when people pretend. So it's important to actually tell people about your perceived world, how things are from your perspective, so that you can get it. And also so that if or when you do die in your own house, no one will come and find you, it's nice to be relied upon as well, and to be that person for other people. So if there is someone that you kind of like or think is a great person, why don't you just call them after today and see if they're okay? It might not be that they're not okay, but just why not just pick up the phone and call them and see what they're up to? Because maybe one day you need someone to call you to. Okay, so that kind of leads us into communications. Who's seen this model? You've seen it? At uni? Yeah? And you? Do you study communications? Yeah? You study communications as well? See, the thing is that there's a degree called communications. Who here doesn't communicate? So everyone communicates? Okay, so then isn't it a bit strange that not everybody's shown this message in primary school or in kindergarten or when they start learning how to do things? Isn't that a bit strange? Isn't it a bit strange that there is a degree of communications? Some people specialize in that field when we all really communicate. We don't all do engineering, so do you know what I mean? So this model, what it is that the sender codes a message, which is, for example, me. I will say things or do things or think things, and I'll say it out loud to Brian, and he will receive it, and he will listen hopefully, and ask me maybe back, do you mean this? And then it goes two ways, and then he will interpret what I'm saying, and then say things back to me, and that's how people communicate. I think we can all agree that that's how we communicate. But there will be all this noise in between. Okay, it's called cultural noise, but that doesn't mean that it's a culture between countries. It just means that people are different, and so people perceive things in a different way. Who here has ever had a conversation with someone and didn't understand what they were talking about?
Every time I talk to my supervisor.
So is the other person stupid or?
Neither stupid.
No? Is it because he didn't listen?
Different cultures, just different backgrounds, just
Yeah,
different ways of thinking.
It takes time to understand someone else, what someone else is saying. And it's not just the words that are coming out of your mouth, it's how you dress, or your tone of voice, or maybe not being there is a way of communicating. Like if I didn't show up today, what am I telling you guys? You're not important to me, I couldn't get here in time, I'm not organized. There's some sort of communication going on there. Or I died. What could be? Hopefully one of you would have called me. So yeah, we usually start out talking about this model, and then we go into the DISC profile, which is what we're going to cut out today. And because we're going to cut it out, because we don't have time, I hope that you will go and look up the DISC profile anyway. You can find it on my website, you can contact me about it. It's called DISC. I'm just going to quickly, okay, I'll show it afterwards. DISC, and there's lots of free courses you can do. So if you email me, I can send you a free course. But Brian's just going to go through this first.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. We all love Facebook. We all love Twitter. We all love LinkedIn and all our social media. But here's the sad truth of it. And when you talk about communication, it's just this little slice here that's 7%. Literally the words that we say. The other parts, the body language and the way we say it, make up the bulk of our communication. And this is what's happened. We've lost a little bit of this in today's age and culture. So in body language, you notice I always wave my hands, I point and go, yes, 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 yes. You know? And people respond, they can see that. And the other part is the way we say it. Do I say rise or fall? The kinds of words that interest you. Do I speak with a monotonous voice? Do you understand what I'm saying?
No.
See what I mean? When we do all these online communications, you know, you lose that. Imagine, you know, like you're talking to a prospective employer. You have a conversation with him. I'm very excited to do this job, ... Or would you rather go, I'm really excited to do this job. I think it's going to be an amazing event. Which one do you think, if you were the boss, which one would you prefer the phone call or would you prefer the typing?
Phone call.
Exactly. So imagine if you're in person, yes, I want this job, please give it to me. It sounds a lot better, doesn't it?
Sounds a little desperate.
Oh my God, man, it's anymore. No, but you get what I'm saying? You can actually determine that I did sound desperate because you could see the rest of it. Agreed? And you won't get that if you just focus on the 7%. So this is why it's really important for face-to-face communications. So take the opportunity, think about your friends, pick up the phone and call them instead of just sending them a tweet.
Or we talk to them.
Cool.
Okay, so this is the model, so DISC. So, although unfortunately I'm not going to go through it, please contact me if you do want that training course for it. It's a behavioral model, so it's like a map of human behavior, and it explains how you can learn to communicate with other people to have better relationships. I almost want to go through it because I think it's so much fun. Oh, it's tempting, isn't it? Does anyone know about it from before?
Can you be persuaded?
Missing out, yeah. Well, do you have extra time at the end?
Yes.
Do you?
There will be extra time.
You can still do the free course. Isn't Prezi awesome?
Yeah. What do you call that program?
Prezi? Prezi.com.
Okay. I love that.
It's so much better having a lecture in Prezi and PowerPoint.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Well, provided you have internet, but you can actually. Yeah. Have you done that?
Oh no, just one of my lecturers presents in Prezi and it's a lot more engaging.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Like, because the eyes will perceive images faster. Okay, so here goes. Thanks for letting me do it. So the first thing that you have to do when you have a model in front of you, because everyone's studying, right? So everyone's gone through a model, like a communications model. So the first thing you have to do when you have a model in front of you is to understand it. And you do that by looking at it the way you look at a map, and how that map works. I'm sure that you have textbooks, and when you read the first page, it says this is how you read it. Have you seen that in your textbooks? This is how you can use it, chapter by chapter, or flip back and forth. And so the DISC model is a map of human behavior. Okay, so it's a map of human behavior. And that map is putting people into brackets, which you should be very careful about doing. But the reason that they're doing it is for you to first understand the model. Okay, and then when it comes natural to you, you don't put people into brackets anymore. On one side of the line, we have people that are task focused. Okay, so when they have to do something or communicate with someone, they're focused on tasks more than they're focused on people. People on this side, they are more focused on people than on the task. Okay, see how that's two different things? The other line is dividing people into people who are outgoing. More outgoing than reserved. This is also called extrovert and introvert. And how that divides into four is outgoing and people-focused, reserved and people-focused, reserved and task-focused, outgoing and task-focused. So that's four different types of behavior. Now everyone will have all of those in different situations. But when we're learning to understand the model, we're going to put people into brackets first. Usually you'll have to. So it's a map of human behavior. Does it make sense? Yeah? The second thing that you have to do is to understand your own style. You have to sit down and think about what you're like before you start thinking about what other people are like. So you need to understand your own style. So the dominant style will be people that are a little bit fast-paced and task-focused. Okay, it's the dominant style because they're people that fall into this one are often people that like to be in charge of things. It doesn't mean that they're more leader or in charge than these people, but just typically people that fall into here are people that can be a little bit dominant in leadership roles. Often entrepreneurs fall into the top one here, or business owners, team leaders. Here you have people that are fast-paced, people-focused. Okay, so they're outgoing, similar to this one, but they're different because these people will be more focused on people. And usually people find that that's inspiring. Okay, when you communicate with the person and you're more focused on you or you, then that's more inspiring than if I say, you know, let's just finish this job, I don't care about you. This one will be different again because although it's people focused, it's a person that's more reserved. A person that is more supportive and who likes to do things not so fast, so kind of think about things. And maybe a little bit more quiet type of person. And here is a person who similarly is more quiet and reserved, but they're focused on tasks. And these kind of people are usually people that are very focused on details of things. So they need statistics, they need to know the numbers of things, they need to know why and how. So it's really specific things. Now, just from this, does anyone kind of know themselves? Yeah?
I'd just like to ask you, one may think you belong to a particular group, but if you do a test, the test may say you belong to a different group. So one, how did you find out? And two, how did you map these to jobs? What's the purpose of knowing this? Is it to find jobs that are suitable to you, or what is it, just to have awareness? What's the purpose?
That's a really, really great question, because when you do the test, or when you put yourself into brackets here, you will get a result that reflects what you think about yourself. And more often than not, actually no, you will get a result that reflects what you would like to think about yourself. So a lot of people indeliberately lie in this test. Because the test will ask, are you a little bit more like this or a little bit more like that? And you go, oh yeah, I want to be a little bit more people focused, I want to be people focused than that one because, you know, I think that I'm like that. So when I did this test, and I was telling Brian about that today, when I did this test, I got a really unusual result. I'm high D and low S. So, or high S. So they're opposites. They're totally opposites. So why does that happen? Well, it happens because I would like to be a leader. You know, like I will tick boxes saying that I own a company, so that puts me into the leadership group or whatever. But then sometimes I am very quiet and not very personable, and I don't feel like standing in front of a group of people and talking about myself and, you know, personal issues. So I volunteer. And so, and that's what I was saying to Brian, is that years ago, the first time I took this test, my teacher looked through my results and she looked at me and she said, Sophia, this is weird because you're actually really confident. And I said, no, I don't feel at all confident. She said, well, compare yourself to other people. You stand in front of a group, you walk up to people, you go dancing. That's confident compared to someone who doesn't do that. Because, you know, I'm an idiot. I don't mind going out onto the dance floor and showing people that I'm really not that great of a dancer. I'll just drink a little bit. I don't mind, you know, coming in today and standing in front of a group of people because I kind of like it. You know, it's okay. But I didn't think that meant that I was confident. So I used to walk around thinking that I wasn't very confident until my teacher said to me, but you are actually. That's how you come across to other people. So does that kind of answer your questions a little bit? So what you do is that you figure out where you are and then you show that to someone else and you ask them, is this what I'm like? Because you're not going to know until people tell you. Yeah?
And just, in answer to the question as well, what for me, I see the application of this. I've never heard it before, but it's fantastic because if you even of your own self-perception of where you think you fit in that, you can also have a perception of where other people fit, and it helps you understand maybe conflict or why things are not working so well. So I think I made a drop-off statement. I can see that, say, my supervisor and I are in different quadrants, completely different, you know, of what I perceive. And perhaps if he did the same thing. So it helps you navigate that rather than what the general psychology is to say, oh, they don't like me or they don't respect my work or whatever, which is often a default from the way we've grown up. So I just thought it was very helpful for me.
That's exactly what you use it for. Yeah, that's exactly what you use it for. And this is very similar to the model of management skills by Quinn and Quinn. And you use that for the same reasons, that you'll always fall into different, or depending on which situation you're in. And the reason that you are able to understand other people will be because you understand the model. So that when, remember I was saying before, I felt a little bit stuck that nobody had called me for 3 days. Really, if someone doesn't call me for 3 days, I usually don't feel upset about that. You know, it was just in that situation. And also, I remember how my mom said, well, we just assumed that you were fine. So it's not because she doesn't love me. It's just because I'm always out doing stuff, so she doesn't have to worry about it. So people are different. People are different like that. And that's, so you'll have more than one style, usually two. Okay, so it's called a style blend. We'll get to that as well. And other people will do that as well. So all depending on the situation that you're in. So sometimes you will be the reserved person. Other times you'll be the outgoing person. Sometimes you will be the people-focused person. And other times you'll be task-focused. It just depends. But once you know who you are in this situation and know who other people are, you'll be able to deal with it. And so we're kind of jumping back and forth a little bit, but because we were answering the questions. So after understanding your style, you understand other people's style. And it's kind of like figuring out the destination for a trip, you know? Like a map. Like where you're going. If I'm A and you're B and I'm going to get over to you, then, you know, figure out how to get there. Because I need to make some plans to get there. And if you do the test, you can actually go, it'll actually give you a list of how the different styles should deal with each other. So it's pretty good. And then you get to understand other people's styles. And then you'll learn how to adjust yourself, depending on who it is that you're dealing with in that situation. So if you're dealing with someone who is really task-focused, and you're going to collaborate with them, and they're focusing on getting the task done, you can recognize that now they're not going to be very people-focused right now. So if they do things that hurt your feelings, it's not because they want to hurt your feelings, it's because they're task-focused right now. They're not focusing on you, and that's okay. So in that situation, if it's a group work or a team situation, you could actually step up and take the chance or the opportunity to be the people-focused person. You can go, okay, you get that done, I'm going to go and get food for everyone. Or I'm going to worry about who's cold, or I'm going to worry about the people because someone else is taking charge of that. But if you're the person who's talking and communicating with other people, then maybe someone else will go, okay, all right, I'll be in charge of being on time. I'll take that responsibility. So we kind of went through this before. But do the test and send me the results. Because it's fun. It's fun. And this kind of relates to what we were saying with the body language and the tone of voice and this kind of stuff, because you can learn how to adjust yourself to other people and to different situations. This is my favorite. Because people make this mistake all the time, and I make this mistake all the time. It's that you can only control your own behavior. You can't control other people's behavior. You can try a little bit when you get to be a parent, but inspiring other people's behavior is probably a lot easier. So if you're a personal trainer and you want someone or someone's hired you to keep fit, then you keep fit, and that's how you inspire other people to keep fit, and then they join you for that. Whenever you go and work out, you call those people, and then that's how you control behavior. You can't just go ahead and expect that you can control other people's behavior. And as soon as you realize that, it's a relief because you can let it go. You can let it go and just think, those people do whatever they want. I am going to change myself in this situation. I'm going to either walk away or I'm going to handle it. I'm going to deal with it. Because, like we were saying before, we have different people for different people. And how do I pull this? But I like talking about the models so much. this kind of relates to the social capital, right? So you are different people to different people in different networks that you are in. Okay, so that's why we are talking about behavior in certain networks. And so this will be your social capital. And when we talk about our social capital and our networks, that means it means how we can collaborate with others to get what we want and for them to get their own. So to get results, yeah? And so we want to think about our behavior in different groups. Sometimes it's the same, but it's usually not. So if everyone wants to use, I gave you some handouts. So if anyone want to write on the back of it, groups that you're in or networks that you're in, just make a little list first.
Yes. Do you have any more handouts?
Yes.
Is there any?
Is that it? Sorry, do you want paper to write on?
Share.
They're all okay? So just try and do 6 groups or networks that you're in, different ones. If anyone can't think of some, let me know. Who's written 6? No one yet? Who wants to share a group? Yeah?
I got a Facebook group that I put together for international emergency medicine, something I'm quite passionate about. It's just to connect people. So I've got about 100 people in it from all around the world who want to do kind of project work on that.
Great.
one. Yeah.
So that's a group that you're in. That's like an online community of
Online
people with the same interests.
Yes.
Yeah. Excellent. Great. Thank you. Anyone else?
Do Aikido, so martial arts.
Oh, yes. Okay. So it's a group of people that like to do different sports or
Yeah.
for fitness. That's awesome. That's great. Yeah.
Is family considered as a group?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. It's a network. It's a group of people. So you're in a family.
Yeah.
Me too. Anyone else?
I'll say the true paths, they really are true to work with the work colleagues and then the customers. Because
Yep.
it's two very separate fields and how you deal with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Very good. Thank you. Anyone else?
We
are
already a group.
We are a group here. We are, yeah. AIESEC as well as non-AIESEC people that are shown on page today. That's a group. Yep.
The people I live with in my hall on campus.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Like a student community of
Residential college.
residential colleges. Yeah, cool. So we've got a couple of different groups now, and I'm sure for some of you it will be, you will have the similar groups, so you will have similar groups on your list. Now, in terms of the discipline, and in terms of which style blend you had, I use the same person in all those groups. I can imagine in your group, if you're the one that created that Facebook group, people see you as a bit of a leader in that group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other groups they see me as a bit of a loser. So in other groups they see me as a bit of a loser because it just depends on who you're talking to.
Yeah.
When I was doing field work in rural Sri Lanka, I was in a completely different world to when I go on the weekends to Colombo and party with my friends and nightclubs and stuff. They wouldn't have been able to. The people I work with from such a different cultural background,
Yeah.
and that's why Facebook can be a dangerous thing because photographs cover everything. Yeah, and you have different worlds colliding. But it was interesting. Different people.
Totally different, yeah. And from in your family, maybe you will be a different person that you will be
Yeah,
and with your friends.
be more independent because I'm like the oldest, like among all my brothers, and I'm the like only daughter, so gonna be more independent in front of my parents, as
Yeah.
well as being a model for my brothers.
Yeah. So that's the kind of role that you have in your family, but it will be different. And so you can see how your style will be different, like you mentioned before. How do you find out what's your style? Well, different people are going to think that your style is different. So someone might think that you're very reserved because you choose to be reserved when you're around this person. Other people, like my teacher, for some reason, has this idea that I'm really confident because she is around me when I do things that make me look confident. Yeah? So it depends. So to answer your question, you have to ask different people in the different groups. Call them and ask them, what am I like in this group? It's okay because people like to give feedback, you know. People love giving advice, but you shouldn't actually give advice until you ask. So if you ask someone for advice, they're going to give it to you. What's your opinion on this? Well, actually. And ask them if they can share something that they normally wouldn't say. So not only just the nice things. Yeah? Try and push them a little bit to say, not be mean. Okay, so why are we talking about this when we're actually supposed to be talking about work? Because your networks of people will reflect where you work. And when you do go to work somewhere, they don't just hire you, they hire you and your social capital. So you'll find when you go to job interviews, people will ask you what you do on your personal time. And it might be good to actually share that with people because it will reflect how well suited you are to that job. So sometimes if you don't get a job, it might not necessarily be because you're not good enough for that job or because they don't like you. It's because you're just not suitable for that role. For someone who has experience in that company or that position, they don't think that what you presented to them was suitable for that role. Okay, so if you apply for a lot of jobs and you don't hear anything, it could just be because you're applying for the wrong jobs. So figure out what your dream is first, or what it is that you want, and then tell people. Because those people will, give you a sense of reflection and help you get what you want. And so the statistics that we're going to come to next for C people, is that actually from Seek and online platforms, only 5% of people that get hired through those platforms. Okay, so jobs that are available. Can anyone guess how most people get hired?
Friends of friends.
Yeah, good friends.
What
Through the
about?
networks. Yeah. To this day, I've only just been in jobs that people have introduced to me, someone that I knew. I didn't actually think about that until I started talking about networking. I was like, yeah, that's right. My friends have brought me work. I better call them and say thank you. So, your success rates for getting a job is higher than any other success rate if you choose the method of networking as your main way of getting a job. So I was talking to a really, really ambitious person at lunch today who told me that he wants to do investment banking. So he's made a plan about how can he get to know people in investment banks so that one day he will be able to work there. So he's actually already now, when he's studying, planning what he's going to do. And I happen to know someone who works at Goldman Sachs, which is an investment bank in Sydney. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm definitely going to get him a job in 3 years from now, because I don't have the power to do that. But I don't work in an investment bank, yet I happen to know people that work in investment banks. So if you tell people what you want, they will be able to put you in touch with people that know someone that knows someone that works in an investment bank. Or whatever else it is that you want.
So that's very much the may not have a pump, but I know someone with one.
That's right. You might know someone with a pump. Yeah. So, this person that wanted to get into investment banking also asked me, what do I have to do? Well, you have to acquire the skills to be a master networker. How do you do that? Well, the first thing that I advise you to do is to read Ivan Meisner's book. He's an American. He's from California. Ivan Meisner. He's written 11 books, but 2 particularly good: Networking Like a Pro and Networking and Sex. It's not what you think. It's about networking and gender, but that sounds boring. And he also owns BNI, which is one of the world's largest business networks. It is international. And there is a huge chapter here in Sydney, or many huge chapters, here in Canberra, and an even bigger one in Sydney. Every city in Australia. That might not be useful for you to actually join this network, but I'm just saying that it's there, and that's what he does. And so he teaches people how to professionally network, which is kind of cool. And so he's done this research and he's figured out 20 to 30 years of research and experience he's got. And he's figured out the 7 must-have skills for a network, a master network. And on the bottom is to be sincere. Okay, so you have to be a person that is sincere. You don't have to be a person that knows what the word sincere means, but you need to actually be sincere. So figure out what that means and be it. You have to have a positive attitude. Okay. People usually like dealing with people that are positive. If you're negative all the time, people eventually will stop wanting to deal with you. It doesn't mean that you can't be negative sometimes, of course you can. But you have to have a positive attitude overall. Because if you walk into a room and you go, I feel so great and I'm so happy, come to this fun thing. Oh yeah, okay, sure. Oh God. I just don't want to do anything. Do you want to hang out with me? No. You know, like, be a little bit positive about things and about other people. You know, be positive for other people, not just yourself. Be a good listener. Okay, so when we were going through the communication model before, we mentioned communicating openly and effectively with someone, and I was giving the example of me and Brian. So when I say something to Brian, hopefully he will actually listen. So not just be quiet, that he get to talk after I finish, and then just think about what he's going to say while I'm talking, but to actually listen and respond back. So being a good listener, what is it? How can I be one? Read up about it, try it out, be interested, be a good listener. Follow up on referrals. Okay, so you're not in business, so you won't be thinking about referrals in terms of business like these guys will, but it's the same. So if you call me and you ask me for a pump, and I don't have one, but I tell you that Brian has a pump, then call Brian and get the pump, give it back to him, it's not, it's up to you, is it? And then call me back and say, I've called Brian about the pump, I've used it, I've given it back to him, thank you. That's following up on a referral. It's the same if someone refers you to a dentist or whatever it is. Follow up on that, follow it through, be the person that follows it through. 3, work your network effectively. That's sometimes really hard to do in the beginning, but if you are all these other things, it becomes really easy and it becomes really fun. And women, I read this in Networking and Sex, but it's also true. Women are very good at that. Okay? Women always know someone that knows someone that knows someone at the pump. Like, it's because we talk so much.
Finally, something
listen at the
intense.
same time. It's the only good thing. We're talking so much, and the ability to multitask, because multitasking isn't necessarily a very good thing to do. But that's part of the female brain that can multitask really well. Listen and talk at the same time is great because you can pump out so much information and find things out. So if you, I'm not saying that guys aren't like that, but if you are looking for a pump, call all the ladies first because they will know. They notice those kind of things. Girls are perceptive. It's one of those really awesome things about girls. Well, that and a couple of things. 2, be trustworthy and reliable. Being reliable doesn't mean to just trustworthy, to just tell the truth. It also means that you have to be reliable to yourself and do the things that you say you're going to do. And most people actually fail it all the time. They say they're going to overpromise or say they're going to do a lot of things that they don't do. I have evidence, and I think that who here has had a New Year's resolution to do something? Yeah? What was it?
Probably to get to the gym more.
Go to the gym more.
Yeah, I followed through.
Did you?
Yeah.
So you're going all the time now?
Yeah, 3 times a week. since
That's
January.
good. That's very good. So you are reliable to yourself. Yeah.